Hello, everyone, and welcome to part 4 of What If Makeshift joined the Autobots. So, without further ado, let's get right to it. So, we start this part off with Ratchet, whom has just constructed a new computer, and then he begins to realize, where's Bulkhead? He's been gone for a while. And then Bulkhead walks into the hangar. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I was just taking a walk. Optimus looks at him. I understand that you are quite bothered of Makeshift and Breakdown joining our ranks, and that they have caused you pain, but understand, with their help, we finally have a chance at ending this war. Bulkhead then says, "It's cool, boss. I'm over it. Plus, it's time for some new beginnings." To which he goes up to Breakdown and gives him a handshake. And Breakdown is quite surprised at this and smiles. And then Bulkhead looks at Makeshift and gives him a nod of acceptance. To which Makeshift does nod back and smile. However, he begins having a weird vibe, and something about this feels very strange to him. Ratchet then picks up a strange magnetic disturbance. To which Makeshift, Breakdown, and Bulkhead then move in to investigate. And once they get there, they see Megatron, Knockout, and 4 Viacons. To which Megatron orders his Decepticons to attack, and Knockout to continue mining for the relic. To which we see Makeshift and Bulkhead headed off to fight Megatron and the Viacons, and Breakdown headed towards Knockout. To which we see Bulkhead run in and break a Viacon's head off. And then we see Makeshift stand before Megatron. Makeshift, a real shame you chose those Autobots. I will give you one last chance, Makeshift. Bow before Megatron, your leader. And then Makeshift turns into Optimus Prime and faces off against Megatron. And for some odd reason, every time he hits Megatron, he feels some pain himself. And he thinks to himself, what is going on? And now we cut to Knockout, who has successfully drilled and uncovered the Polarity Gauntlet. That's when Breakdown stops him. Wait, Knockout, don't do it. As to which Knockout kinda starts to ignore Breakdown. Do what, traitor? Think about what you're doing here real quick, Knockout. Feeding more into Megatron's cause? Come with me, and our partnership can continue, my friend. Knockout is then taken aback by this, and is actually about to join Breakdown, but then he is shot through the spark. Breakdown catches the body of Knockout as it nearly collapses to the ground. No. As to which Megatron says, enough, traitors. Breakdown then picks up the Polarity Gauntlet. Oh yeah? Traitor this. Buckethead. He then uses the Polarity Gauntlet to levitate Megatron and then tosses him into a mountain. And then he utilizes the Polarity Gauntlet and literally rips apart all the 3 remaining Viacons. He then goes to hand the Polarity Gauntlet over to Bulkhead. And Bulkhead holds onto it a little too suspiciously and long. And from the same direction that Megatron was thrown, comes Soundwave flying in, using his tentacles in his vehicle mode, grabbing the Polarity Gauntlet from Bulkhead's hand and flies off. To which Bulkhead is like, what? No, scrap! Breakdown is like, it's okay, Bulk. We all make mistakes. Makeshift is then like, yeah. As he calls for a ground bridge back to Hangar E. And meanwhile, at the Nemesis warship, Soundwave arrives with the Polarity Gauntlet in hand. Then he goes up to Megatron and the real Soundwave. And then this Soundwave hands them the Polarity Gauntlet, transforming into a Makeshift clone. Megatron looks to Starscream and actually phrases him on his idea on using the clones, and they have been quite useful so far. Starscream is then like, of course, Lord Megatron. However, due to the recent death of our ship's medic, Knockout, we would have to take away one of the clones from the field. To which we see a Makeshift clone turn into Knockout. That just leaves 3 clones. At least we used the cortical psychic patch to slightly alter their memories and have it so that they'll never betray us. And using them, I'll finally get revenge on both Breakdown and Makeshift. Why, yes, my dear Bulkhead. Now is the time. Take them to the current Autobot base and annihilate your Autobot allies once and for all. Just Breakdown and Makeshift. No one else. Yes, Bulkhead. Just Breakdown and Makeshift. And then he makes a face and thinks to himself, what a fool, Bulkhead. Meanwhile, back at the Autobot base, the Bulkhead and Makeshift clone receives the contact from the real Bulkhead and says to keep the Autobots contained in the base. That his vengeance on Makeshift and Breakdown will happen. Meanwhile, Makeshift decides to voice his concerns to Optimus, explaining how easy it was for a supposed Soundwave to just snatch the Polarity Gauntlet. If what you say is correct, something is wrong with Bulkhead. Or if it even is Bulkhead, I shall have Ratchet check on him to make sure he's okay. Ratchet then walks up to Bulkhead. Don't mind me, Bulkhead. I just need to do a checkup on your brain, make sure everything is functioning properly. To which Bulkhead is then like, okay. To which Ratchet takes a brain scan and goes to the computer to look at it and makes a shocking discovery. But then Bulkhead walks up behind him and then takes out his blaster and shoots Ratchet, which causes him to go offline. To which the Bulkhead Makeshift clone then grabs Ratchet's body and runs out of the hangar. RC and Bumblebee, hearing the shots, come in running and see both Ratchet and Bulkhead gone. Breakdown runs in as well. Then Makeshift and Optimus Prime. Optimus is then like, what has happened here? Where's Ratchet and Bulkhead? Makeshift then walks up to the computer terminal and sees what Ratchet had discovered. Bulkhead isn't Bulkhead. His brain scan showed that Bulkhead isn't Bulkhead, but a Makeshift. Makeshift is like, what? How? He then shows it to the team, and they're all surprised as well. What in blazes is going on here, Breakdown says. Agent Fowler then runs on in with the humans. Prime, we spotted Bulkhead carrying Ratchet out of the base. And Miko's like, yeah, something's wrong with him. I've been meaning to tell you. As to which the Autobots show her and explain to her what they found in Bulkhead's brain scan, as to which she is shocked. And Optimus says, Autobots, find this Bulkhead imposter. Somewhere outside of the perimeter of the base, the Bulkhead Makeshift clone meets up with the real Bulkhead and the other 3 Makeshift clones. And Bulkhead is seeing Ratchet's dead body. And then he's like, what? No, I told you to only target Makeshift and Breakdown. To which the clone just responds with, things change. To which the Autobots arrive and seeing Bulkhead with all those Makeshift clones, they are very shocked to see Bulkhead like this. And once they see Ratchet's dead body, they're like, Bulkhead, what have you done? To which Bulkhead is like, I'm sorry, that wasn't my intention to... To which Optimus is then like, Bulkhead, I am very disappointed in you. When you first joined me in the battle of Thunderhead Pass, I thought I saw an Autobot, a hero, but I guess I was wrong. As to which Breakdown and Makeshift look at each other. Makeshift then says, Bulkhead, everybody makes mistakes. Yes, thanks to me, Wheeljack is dead. However, no, I did everything I could to try to help him. As to which Bulkhead then thinks for a moment. And Breakdown says, and Bulk, I never meant to betray you back in the day. I was lost, just like how you are now. To which Optimus grabs Ratchet's body and carries it. And as he turns to the Autobot base, he sees the Nemesis warship fly in and destroy the military base, all of it. But don't worry, the humans were evacuated in time because they could see a giant warship flying in and say, let's get the hell out of here. As to which Optimus, carrying Ratchet's body, looks to the other Autobots. Let's roll out and let Bulkhead return to his master Megatron. To which the Autobots leave, with Bulkhead beginning to have regret, and the Decepticon warship beaming up the Makeshift clones and Bulkhead. Megatron then walks up to Bulkhead. Well done, Bulkhead. You have been quite useful to us indeed. Now, the Autobots are weakened, and their base is no more. They will be easy pickings from now on. To which Bulkhead gets the urge to attack Megatron, but he doesn't. Thank you, Lord Megatron, with a big hesitation. Meanwhile, we see Optimus, RC, and Bumblebee, and the humans all paying their respects to Ratchet as he is buried. And Miko is the most disappointed, especially since Bulkhead is with the cons now. Makeshift and Breakdown then return from a scouting mission with a certain relic in hand. Optimus then says, excellent work, you two. This can be a huge help to our cause, especially now. Autobots, we must move forward and avenge our fallen comrades. First step is to search for a new base. And with more and needed resources, we will get to the Decepticons. But before all that, the Autobots have to deal with something else. For a prophecy is here, and an ancient enemy is about to emerge. And that's where I'm gonna leave it off here, everybody. Hopefully you guys enjoyed part 4, and I'll see you guys in part 5.